Hey YouTube, Ben from the future here, and just wanted to make a quick little announcement and apology. So first with the apologies, I'm going to say sorry in advance for the glare. I got to the site a little bit late, and I was rushed for time in terms of setup. So little apologies there. Hopefully everything turns out okay after post. Secondly, the announcements. If you haven't checked out the Happy New Year announcement video for 2024, I highly suggest that you check it out. It just has a little bit of a plan for January and early February, and it has two sub goals. So once we get to 600 subs and then 1,000 subs, there's going to be two separate giveaways. So if you want to know what we're giving away, check out the video there. Hope you enjoy the coverage. I'm definitely a little bit out of practice, so hope you guys enjoy nonetheless. All right, Legacy peeps, we are back for round 5 for the Legacy side event that happened at the face-to-face tour Toronto stop on January 13th. This is a winning into the top 8 round. We have on player 1 side, Michael playing Storm, and his opponent, player 2, is Rich playing blue-white control. I think we've had Rich on a couple times before. It is a classic blue-white draw-go control deck, and he is playing first. Both players kept their 7s, and Rich starts off with a Scalding Tarn, passing it to Michael. So we are going to be seeing here Rich. It is titled blue-white control. He is playing more colors though, but I don't think he actually uses those colors for anything other than prismatic ending. We will find out for sure in this match, hopefully. Michael starting off with a Mishra's Bauble, cracking it, and then I think he checked his own library and fetched. Didn't like what he saw, went to get rid of it. Down comes a Thoughtseize. Rich going to crack the Scalding Tarn. There is a Tundra. Okay, there's a Brainstorm in response to the Thoughtseize. I think he's going to try to hide the Force of Will in his hand. So we see Dovin's Veto, Timeless Dragon, Force of Will, Jason Mind Sculptor, Supreme Verdict, a couple lands. Looks like he's going to be hiding the Dovin's Veto and the Force of Will. So yeah, we see the Tundra, we see that there's an Underground Sea, and then the last card in his hand is an Island. So he is playing off colors just to support a Prismatic Ending, to my knowledge. But Rich going to reveal his hand. It is going to show the Supreme Verdict, Jace, Timeless Dragon. Not sure what you want to take if you're Michael. I think it's tough because he, like, as a Storm player, I don't think you really care about any of these. The one that holds the most danger to you is most likely the Timeless Dragon, but you don't want to be pitching it because the Eternalize cost makes it a little cheaper, and if you're not dealing with it like initially, then you don't want to let him play it at a cheaper cost. So he's gonna pass. Michael's gonna pass back to Rich and draw a card off the Mishra's Bauble. I think Rich just gonna play the Tundra and pass the turn. Michael's gonna respond with Ponder, not revealing, but showing Brainstorm, Dark Ritual, and sorry, I forgot what the third card was. Okay, so you don't get to pick at it, but Michael gonna resolve the Ponder, and he draws into the Dark Ritual. Rich just gonna play Underground Sea and presumably just pass back. Michael is going to Brainstorm at the end of Rich's turn. Mike's gonna draw. It's gonna be Lotus Petal, Ponder, Brainstorm. Gonna put the Ponder, Brainstorm back on top. So this is more of an Ant. It resembles more of Ant in terms of like Storm variant. There is Beseech the Mirror. I don't think it's pretty hard to build a Storm deck that doesn't kind of utilize the Beseech loop. Like, it's just so efficient if you can support it. But here Mike is gonna try to start going off. Gonna start with Lotus Petal for Storm Count 1, and then Dark Ritual for Storm Count 2. However, this Dark Ritual has not fully resolved yet. Rich is in the tank. So we know that he has Dovin's Veto and Force of Will as his 2 hidden cards. Rich allows a Dark Ritual to resolve. Going to try to cast the Beseech the Mirror, and this is probably what's going to take the Dovin's Veto. Alright. So that should be Storm Count. It doesn't matter, he's just going to pass the turn. Going to draw for his turn, play an island, pass the turn. Exactly what it is. So we don't know what the second hidden card in Rich's hand is now, but we definitely know that there's the Force of Will. So now Mike is in a kind of a precarious position where he needs to rebuild his hand to Storm. Whoa, there's a One Ring and an Infernal Tutor. Those are pretty good cards. I mean, if Mike is able to resolve the One Ring, that'd be like fantastic on his part, but there's a Misty Rainforest. Is he? He's not going to shuffle. I don't think you would want to shuffle the One Ring away, but here's a Plains Cycle from Rich, getting the Timeless Dragon into the graveyard. Finds a Tundra. So now I think Rich is thinking maybe while Michael is taking time to rebuild, we can get this Timeless Dragon Eternalize onto the board and starts chipping away and applying pressure. He still has the Force of Will backup, which is pretty good. Is there a Ponder or a Brainstorm? There's a Brainstorm. Now we're going to hide the 2 cards. Going to draw 3. There's a Standstill. I think it's Standstill, a second Timeless Dragon, and I'm not sure what the very last card he drew was. Oh, okay. So he's considering putting the Timeless Dragon and the Supreme Verdict on top. So I think because of the Standstill now, he can just play the Standstill and kind of sit on that for extra card advantage, and then just pass the turn. Alright, Michael in response going to cast a Brainstorm. 1 ring. There is another Lion's Eye Diamond. Not sure what the second card is. Could have been both Infernal Tutors. Gonna draw for turn. Yep, there is an Infernal Tutor. Gonna crack the Misty, get rid of the second Infernal Tutor that was there. Finds a 3rd Underground Sea. So yeah, because of the Beseech loop, you don't really need Past in Flames anymore. Michael going to break the Standstill with the Lotus Petal. Rich going to draw Flooded Strand, Supreme Verdict, Timeless Dragon. Down comes a 1 ring. Going to eat a regular, good old-fashioned counterspell. So I think Rich is in like an extremely dominating position, right? Like he has a Timeless Dragon in the graveyard. He has a second one in hand. He has so much interaction. Oh, I say so much interaction, but we've been through already 2 pieces. Like he's used the Dovin's Veto to stop the Beseech. He's used the counter spell to stop the One Ring. And now he has a Force of Will to stop whatever else is like, going to happen in the future. And he's now just at the point where he's generating so much card advantage through his Standstill and now a hard cast Lorien reveal. It's really hard to fight a control player who has all of their lands in a full stacked hand. Alright, so down comes 2 Lion's Eye Diamonds, 3 Lion's Eye Diamonds. Storm count is at 3. The last card is the Infernal Tutor, and no matter what, it's going to get countered by this Force of Will. I think, I'm pretty sure Michael's like just out of options. This just might be game. There's a Force of Will countering the Infernal Tutor, and Michael just passing the turn back to Rich. Rich going to draw for the turn. Nope, he's going to fetch before drawing. Finds a Volcanic Island. So, Rich draws for the turn. It is a Wasteland. Down comes a Mystic Sanctuary. 2 Lion's Eye Diamonds. 3 Lion's Eye Diamonds. 2 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 Lion's Eye Di Going to put good old-fashioned counterspell on the top. And here is a Timeless Dragon. Alright, Michael with no cards in hand. What is he gonna do? There's a Brainstorm. Thoughtseize, Brainstorm, Dark Ritual. Honestly, like, I think at this point it's hard to, like, you're already missing one Beseech. Like, I don't know if there's an out that you can do. Like, it would most likely have to be like Beseech into Beseech into Beseech into Gaia's Will, and then you unlock your entire graveyard. But even if you do that Beseech line, you don't have artifacts and enchantments for you to sacrifice to keep the Beseech leaps going. Like, you're just so far down on resources, and there's no way for you to build cards in your hand other than just naturally drawing them one at a time. Yeah, so Rich just had just had the answers really early on, and now we're at the point where we're just fighting down 5/5 dragons. Here's a Thoughtseize. Shows Counterspell, Swords to Plowshares, Scalding Tarn. Alright, here's a Brainstorm. Cracking LED for 3 black, I think. There's an Infernal Tutor. Yep, there we go. But that will be Rich taking it over Michael in game 1. Alrighty, here we are for game number 2. Rich, playing Blue-White Control, is up 1 game. Michael going to be on the play. So I think the key here is, so both players keeping their opening 7s, but what I was saying was, the key is Michael needs to show extreme patience and restraint. He needs a way to play out like threatening cards to just get rid of or get through all of the counter spells and interaction that Rich might have. Alright, so here's a Carpet of Flowers coming from Michael. Rich going to just play Flooded Strand and then play a Plains for his turns. Michael drawing for the turn and just passing back. Rich finds a Wasteland. Gonna most likely strip away the Tropical Island. Yep. Leaves no room for Mike to get mana. Mike going to draw for turn. There's a Polluted Delta, pass back. There's an Underground Sea. I'm not sure if you want to play the Underground Sea. Oh, if you have a Scalding Tarn, I would probably opt to play the Scalding Tarn over any of the other lands. Odawara is still... It's like a half spell, half land. Whereas, like, playing the Scalding Tarn, it doesn't generate any mana from the Carpet of Flowers, which is pretty good. Michael going to cast a Lotus Petal for the turn. Passing back. Rich going to draw. There is a Standstill. So Rich really in the tank on debating on which land he should be going for here. Looks like he's opting for the Odawara. He's really trying his best not to give Michael the extra mana from this Carpet of Flowers. Looks like he's going to commit to the Odawara into Standstill. Oh, not going to do anything. Ah, because he has the Dovin's Veto. So he's still able to cast the Dovin's Veto with this Odawara and Plains. Rich showing his patience on cracking these fetch lands. There's no need for them to be cracked. Wow, Michael's hand is Echoing Truth, 3 Beseech the Mirrors. I think there's a Lion's Eye Diamond in there, and I can't tell what the second to last card, or second to last card to the left is. Rich going to crack both of his fetch lands. Yeah, should be at 18. There we go. So here is a Plateau. Interesting. Looks like he's going to go for a Tundra. There's finally an island on the board. Is it time for Carpet of Flowers to start doing work? Flash in Wandering Emperor at the end of the turn. Okay. Now there's a... Now Rich can present a threat in a 2-2... in the form of a 2-2 Samurai. Okay, Rich gonna untap and draw for turn. Draws a Force of Will. Pretty good pickup. Down comes Underground Sea. 3 mana for the Teferi. Are we gonna bounce the carpet? Michael gonna crack both in response to the Teferi. So if he's gonna do something, he has to do something now. In response to this Teferi. Okay, so in response to Michael cracking the second polluted delta, Rich is going to Surgical Extraction Tropical Island. And now we get to peek at Michael's hand. So Veil of Summer, 2 Echoing Truths, 3 Beseech the Mirrors, and a Lion's Eye Diamond. Not really what you want to be seeing as the Storm player. Yeah, so this is definitely an Ant opposed to Tez version. I think the Tez version, if you even want to like differentiate it by those standards, like the lines are kind of blurred. Yeah, I don't know. Like Ant, it's still playing Ad Nauseam Tendrils, whereas Tez is playing the Song of Creation. I think is the name of the enchantment. Anytime you cast a spell, you get to draw 2 cards, and then you have to discard your hand at the end of the turn. But I thought that, yeah, I think Ant was supposed to have like a little bit of a better time against Control just because it has all of the discard. But it's struggling here. So Echoing Truth was cast on the Samurai token that was generated by the Wandering Emperor. The Road to Fairy resolves and bounced the Carpet of Flowers. Wandering Emperor is reactivating, or has activated to generate another Samurai. So yeah, I just had to remind Rich that he has to draw from the Teferi, so he can't. That's something he can't miss. All right, Michael going to crack the Lotus Petal for green to recast the Carpet of Flowers. Going to be countered by the Dovin's Veto. There is a Veil of Summer in Michael's hand. Going to draw. There's a Flooded Strand for Rich. Rich going to uptick onto the Samurai token, making it a 3/3. Gonna uptick the Teferi, make sorceries castable at instant speed. And we're gonna chip in for 3 points of damage from Rich's side. Looks like he's considering playing a standstill here. Down it comes and passes back to Michael. Michael gonna draw. Looks like a Surgical Extraction. These 3... Having 1 Beseech in the hand is great. Drawing into 2 more is not the best. I'm assuming that they were cards that he drew into because, like, as a Storm player, if you had multiple in your starting hand, there's no way you should be keeping it. So, Scalding Tarn gonna come down from Rich's side. Wandering Emperor is gonna tick down, make another Samurai token. Samurai is going to come in for another 3 points of damage. Brings Michael down to 12. Gonna uptick the Teferi and pass the turn. So hopefully we can get these life totals updated. Michael going to draw for the turn. Yeah, not a great position. So I think 2 out of the 3 cards that we don't know, I'm pretty sure one is a Surgical Extraction, and then the other one is a second Veil of Summer. The really glared out card is the first Veil of Summer that we do know about. Okay, so he's drawn in Underground Sea for the turn. But quite a few green cards for not a lot of green mana sources. Which I'm sure... Yeah, having only 1 tropical island is really rough. even in traditional Ant, I'm pretty sure you play Bayous as well as Tropical Islands. All right, Michael's going to pass turn back to Rich. Rich going to draw. In a pretty commanding lead. Gonna put a +1/+1 onto the Samurai that doesn't have a counter, and he's now going to come in for 6 points of damage, bringing Michael down to 6. Rich drew a Force of Negation for the turn. He's going to uptick that to Fairy. And looks like he has Force of Negation, Force of Will, Snapcaster, Meltdown. Michael going to draw a card. He needs to do something now. If he doesn't, then he's in a really bad position here. There's an Echoing Truth, going to break the standstill and trying to get rid of all the threats that are on the board. Going to crack the fetch in response to the standstill. This Echoing Truth is definitely not going to resolve. I'm pretty sure Rich can hard cast. Okay, he's just shy of being able to hard cast both Force of Will and Force of Negation at the same turn. But he has more than enough blue cards in his hand to deal with this, or to exile to force. Yeah, Michael is just gonna pick him up. Okay, so that is Rich taking it over Mike. Blue-white control succeeding over Beseech Storm. So that puts Rich into the top 8. The next 3 games will be top 8 matches, and we'll see you guys for those. Till next time.